So it looks like we're just waiting for people to start rolling in, so we'll give everybody just a few minutes to start rolling in. I'm really excited about this webinar today. I'm super excited to have everyone. We're just going to wait for everyone to start rolling in to the webinar, and we'll get started here in just a few minutes. How you feeling today, John? It's nice today.
Yes, I'm actually coming to you directly from Pawleys Island, our Rental Guardian corporate office. So it's a beautiful day here, about 78 degrees in South Carolina, and weather's treating us nice, and it's really great to be on board with this webinar. I'm excited about delivering all this great content.
Absolutely, me too. How about you, Faye? How are you today?
I'm fantastic. Have some great spring weather here in Oregon, and I'm super, super pumped about this integration. So really excited to share it with everybody.
Me too, me too. And it's been a long time coming. And I'm really excited to hear you all let everybody know about this new integration with LMPM. All right, so I guess we will go ahead and get started. You know, we have a lot of content that we do want to let everybody know about for this webinar. So we are kind of blessed that we do have a brand new integration that Faye and John get to present to you today. Faye is with LMPM and John is going to be with Rental Guardian. And the topic of today's webinar is going to be elevating revenue, a comprehensive guide to vacation rental insurance, upselling, and property protection. Things that every property manager needs to run their business effectively. So without further ado, I just want to give you a little housekeeping tips. With this being a webinar, the chat is disabled, so you will see a Q&A button there at the bottom. If you just want to post your questions there, we will get to them through chat if we're able to, or we will get to them at the end of the webinar. All right, so I will go ahead and pass the baton to Faye with LMPM, and she'll be happy to introduce herself, and then John.
Thank you, Katrina. Very nice intro. Yeah, I am really excited about this webinar today and just being able to introduce this new integration with Rental Guardian to all of our LMPM customers. Not only is this our first actual insurance integration, I've been a big fan of Rental Guardian for some time now, even before my time here at LMPM. I think they are a fantastic company. They have wonderful people and even better products. Just a little overview on what this integration means for our customers. This will now give you access to all of Rental Guardian's products. The main selling point, in my opinion, outside of the great products that is that no more manual reporting for insurance policies. So whether you're a current customer of Rental Guardian or using another provider, previously you would need to manually report the policies purchased, and that will be all handled via our API as a moving forward. Also with this integration, you can offer more than one travel insurance product at the time of checkout, in addition to the damage protection products as well. If you're interested, please reach out to sales@rentalguardian.com to get started. And then our respective teams are going to take it from there. There is no heavy lifting required on your part. And it's a great profit center as well. So I'm going to hand it over to John and he's going to take it away.
Thanks a lot, Faye. And man, I'm super excited to be here today. This has been a labor of love to get this integration done. And now that it's complete, this just means the full scope of all the products that Rental Guardian has to offer are now available for all the folks that use LMPM to be able to use in a seamless, easy fashion. And that automation via API is so critical because, as Faye mentioned, that there's no heavy lifting whatsoever that you as a property manager have to do. And we'll kind of go through that as I go through the programs, but without further ado, let's dive in because I've got a bunch of content to share. So here we go. First and foremost, who the heck is Rental Guardian? Well, we are an insurtech company, and we are the probably one of the most advanced damage and travel protection program companies in the marketplace. We have a API integrated claims management and insurance distribution platform that is basically a way for all the programs to be distributed and then connected to the power of a software like LMPM, and you really have the best of breed property management software, but also the insurance distribution and claims management systems all working seamlessly together. So it's going to, offer the programs that we feature. It's going to help you earn revenue as a property manager while increasing bookings. It's going to track all the coverages so you don't have to send any spreadsheets. And then there's going to be, of course, additional custom coverages that come down the pipe that I'll get to. I don't want to give away my thunder too soon, but those are going to be coming down the line, which we're also super excited to announce. So upselling protection programs and maximizing revenue, why should you even be concerned about protection? Well, first and foremost, there's an incredible interest in protection programs for homeowners who are allowing you as a property manager to represent them in the marketplace. Homeowners, maybe 5 to 10 years ago, were not as educated as they are now. They just relied on their local neighborhood property manager and went from there. Now they're educating themselves. They're attending conferences. They're viewing content online and learning more about how the perils and pitfalls that come from renting your home as a business can happen. So if property managers are not able to speak to those and have a good way for them to be able to answer those questions, then you're really doing yourself a disservice by not participating in these, because they're so easy to distribute. Before it was much harder, but now it's just super simple. And as I mentioned, the homeowners are demanding these products, right? If you have a home on the beach or a 4-bedroom somewhere, or even a 1-bedroom condo, the last thing you want to do is have to deal with it being damaged day in and day out from these renters who come in. And having a quick and easy way to be able to protect those homes is a great feature for property managers to lean into and use that as an additional service for them to be able to offer these services to their homeowners. And of course, managers, especially after the post-COVID correction, want to reevaluate and refine their programs to generate more revenue while spending less. I mean, who doesn't want to do that, right? Let's make sure that we have the most robust programs we can, but also the least expensive to save money, which all then goes as additional revenue to your bottom line. So when we talk about travel protection, that's going to be programs that are going to be offered directly to the guest. And these programs are now seamlessly integrated within LMPM. And with Rental Guardian, we offer and give guests 3 choices. We're going to give them an offering for standard travel protection, and we'll go into these programs in depth a little bit later, but this is just a brief high-level overview. Standard travel protection is going to protect the guest for a set schedule of covered reasons. Then there's an upgrade for cancel for any reason, and we're one of the only companies in the industry that deliver a cancel for any reason program. Our competitors do not have this program in their arsenal. And then, of course, they can choose not to protect their trip. And when they do that, Rental Guardian is going to give you a great way to be able to reintroduce these programs seamlessly without hardly lifting a finger for you to be able to then offer those programs after the fact. And there's really 4 main ways that they can do that. And I'll tell you about the 5th one in a minute. First and foremost, direct bookings via your website. When a guest comes in and makes a booking, the first thing they want to do is find their unit, and then they're going to go through that checkout page. And when they get to their cart in LMPM, there's going to be an additional set of services that they can choose. And now, for the first time, Rental Guardian is featured as both of our products has the ability for those guests to be able to choose those programs. So adding these programs when guests are making direct bookings just gives you the great way to be able to offer that right then and there for them to be able to protect their trip. Also, outbound communication touch points. As a property manager, you are sending out multiple communications to your guests. Probably you're sending thank yous, reservation confirmations, requests for payments, things like that. When you do and have Rental Guardian integrated into your software, what you can then do is also send them, hey, would you like to purchase travel insurance? Or hey, are you interested in protecting your trip? Click here to learn more. Well, that click is going to go to a special thing that I'm going to tell you about in a few minutes, which is going to be an online store. And that's going to be your own branded online store that's going to allow for folks to go back and reconsider. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a few minutes. And then, of course, your team. It's super important for your team to be trained, and that's where we excel. We're going to be able to train your folks. Also, we'll record that training, and we're going to give them the details that they need to be able to answer the basic questions, because that upsell opportunity is going to be when those folks call in, because some people want to, speak to the person that they're going to be making a booking with. And when they do that, offering travel insurance is going to be a great way to be able to assist that guest get the protection they need. So when they have to cancel, they'll have protection for themselves. So let's talk about Travel Guardian Plus. Travel Guardian Plus is basically our version of standard travel protection. It's underwritten by Nationwide, and it allows for folks to be able to protect themselves against the standard listed covered reasons that are in the policy. We have over 30. And with those 30 standard trip coverage reasons, they're going to be able to protect against the big things, right? If somebody gets sick or injured or has to have an appendix surgery or something like that, things that can get in the way of a trip. Heaven forbid somebody passes away or loses their job or things of that nature. Those are all very awkward issues that when they come up and you have to then attend to those items. If you have travel insurance, you can basically cancel your trip. And when you as a property manager have to enforce that cancellation clause, that's always difficult when travel insurance is not involved. Because if somebody had a very emotional reason for canceling, let's say a loved one passed away and now they have to go to a funeral instead of on vacation, and then you as a property manager have to enforce that cancellation clause saying, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry to hear that, but we also are going to keep your money because you canceled within the penalty phase. Well, then now you're the bad guy. But when they have travel insurance, you just simply are telling them, how much you care about them, and you're going to process the cancellation. And then you can send them to the underwriter and they can get reimbursed 100% for that list of 30 standard covered reasons. It also covers, up to 100,000 of total trip cost and covers trips in length of 90 days. So basically, most every trip that folks are booking is going to have an ability to be covered. But let's say somebody has to cancel for a reason not listed in the policy. Well, if they only purchase standard travel protection, they're only going to have those 30 standard covered reasons. And with all of our competitors, that's all they get. And they only have probably anywhere between 22 to 26 covered reasons. So with our program, it's a bit more robust. But we offer cancel for any reason, or CFAR. And what that means is that a guest that has cancel for any reason, they get all the benefits of the standard protection, but they also, if they have to cancel for a reason not listed in the policy, as long as they call and cancel more than 2 days prior to arrival, they can literally cancel for any reason and still get a 60% reimbursement for those costs that they covered, which is a far better scenario than a guest not having the ability to have that coverage. Because let's say that their son or daughter made an all-star game, and now instead of going to Colorado to ski, they have to go to Orlando and play soccer. Well, unfortunately, my son or daughter making the all-star game is not a standard covered reason, but for any reason, not a problem. All they have to do is cancel more than 2 days prior and they get a 60% reimbursement, which is a far better way to go, because now you've got a better, best scenario. You've got plan A, which is the 30 covered reasons, and now a plan B, which will at least get them 60%. And that's a much better conversation to have. And with that, the pricing is this. It's a percentage of the cost of the trip, and that's the grand total. So it would be either 7% for the standard program or an additional 3.8% for the cancel for any reason. And with that, they were able to choose which one, whether they do it through the direct booking or they do it through the online store. And they're going to be able to protect themselves against those things that can come up and get in the way of them having their vacation. There's also a 10-day free look period. So if somebody wants to purchase it, then they're able to have 10 days to be able to review the policy once they receive it. And if they decide that they don't want the coverage, which very rarely happens, but sometimes it does, if that happens, then the property manager can simply reimburse them the premium that they paid during the direct booking, and they can, no questions asked, they can give the policy back. After 10 days, that policy is considered in effect, and it's being used to protect them against those things that can occur. Another great thing about the program is it's a revenue stream for property managers. You as a property manager with no upfront costs, no ongoing costs, are going to generate earnings on every single policy. And so what you've done now is you've taken an awkward conversation, turned it into a far less awkward conversation, or not even a conversation, and you've been able to then also earn revenue on every policy. And whether you have 10 units or you have 1,000 units, you're going to earn a significant amount of revenue as people take up this program, but you're also going to get all the ancillary benefits that come from having your guests have protection. We're also going to give you, like I said, that ongoing training for your team, which we'll cover here in a few minutes. And it's a super easy process when somebody has to cancel. Let's say somebody calls you up and says, oh my gosh, my husband has appendicitis surgery. We're headed to the hospital. I have to cancel. Now you're just simply saying, okay, not a problem. I'm sorry for that. Hope everything goes well. I'm going to cancel your reservation. And here's the information for that cancellation and the money that you forfeited for that cancellation. Then they can go online and either by text message, phone call, or email, file a claim and get 100% reimbursement for that standard coverage, which appendicitis surgery is a cancellation reason. And of course, our program, as you see that logo at the top, is underwritten by Nationwide. And I know what you're thinking. You've seen the commercials. Matter of fact, I seen Peyton Manning on TV just yesterday here in South Carolina with a brand new commercial for Nationwide. I've never met him, but he certainly is a great spokesperson for Nationwide. And that jingle, trust me, I know you know it. Nationwide is on your side. And I apologize if you're singing it in your head now, but what I'll tell you is this: if you know the jingle, so do your guests. And that means when you offer travel insurance and they're in the path of making a direct booking and they see that Nationwide information, they already are familiar with it, which means they're that much closer to saying yes to travel insurance, which means when you use Rental Guardian and our programs, you're probably going to have a higher take-up ratio just because they're so gosh darn familiar with the programs. So what does it cover? Well, I sort of covered this, and I'm keeping my eye on the time because I want to be respectful of your day. But illness, injury, or death to you or companions or family member, not even in the traveling party. Also natural disasters like hurricanes or blizzards, things of that nature that can cause mandatory evacuations or road closures or things of that nature where you're not even able to get to your destination. Also inclement weather causing delay or cancellation of travel, like at certain airports that are iced in or things of that nature, depending on what happens. Let's say if you're part of a merger or acquisition in your company and they've taken away all vacation and you have to be able to attend to those things, that's a covered reason. Road closures as well. Or if you have to serve on jury duty or get subpoenaed for a court case or things of that nature, all those things are standard covered reasons. Or if you or your traveling companion are a student, a full-time teacher, or other full-time employee at an elementary, middle, or high school, and you're required to attend an extended school year that falls during or beyond a period of the scheduled departure date, that's a standard covered reason. Or, I hate this one, but you know what? If heaven forbid your dog or cat were to pass away within 7 days prior to your scheduled departure date, you can also cancel for that as well. And there's over 30 of those standard covered reasons that are all built to be able to help you have protection when you need it most, which is when things go wrong and unexpected things occur. Now, what is CFAR and how does it work? Well, basically, cancel for any reason, as I mentioned, is an enhancement to the standard coverage. So the standard program is 7% times the cost of the trip, includes 30 standard covered reasons. And then for only 3.8% more, they can add that backup benefit for having cancel for any reason for a total of 10.8% times the cost of the trip. And if, let's say, for instance, the booking was $1,000, the guest would pay for standard coverage 7% of the $1,000 or $70. Or if they had canceled for any reason, they'd be able to protect that 1,000 with 10.8, which is pretty inexpensive at the at the end of the day. And when people are spending 5, 10, 15, 20,000 or more on vacations, they certainly want a way to protect their trip, and cancel for any reason program is one of the best out there, especially because it's underwritten by Nationwide. When a cancellation occurs or interrupted, the only thing they have to do is call you up, cancel. You deliver them the information that they need to be able to process that cancellation and have an amount that you're keeping per your cancellation clause. Now, that might be the entire amount. It might be only a portion of the amount. Whatever the guest loses, they're able to then get back from the program, whether it's 100% for one of the standard 30 covered reasons or 60% from one of the CFAR any reason benefits. And it's certainly a great way for folks to be able to protect themselves and their family and not lose that valuable income that they've put out for that vacation. Now, when you can purchase it is super important as well, because it's pretty liberal with the standard program. You can take it at the time of booking or all the way up until 30 days prior to arrival when the booking is made more than 30 days prior to arrival. So if somebody books 6 months in advance, they can literally take cancel for any reason all the way up until 30 days prior to arrival. So they basically have 5 months to make a decision. So that gives you plenty of time, if they don't take it right off the bat, to then mark it back to them. And we'll show you how to do that in a little bit. Now, let's say somebody books last minute. We consider last minute 30 days prior to arrival. So if somebody makes a booking within 30 days, let's say that they made a booking 10 days prior to arrival, well, then that guest would have the day of booking plus, a total of 5 days prior to arrival. So they would basically have 5 days to make a decision on standard travel insurance. With cancel for any reason, it's a much shorter window because the program is so robust. So first and foremost, cancel for any reason cannot be purchased within 30 days prior to arrival. So in your system, it would not show up. It would not be available. But if they purchase more than 30 days prior to arrival, they have at the time of booking and then up to 14 days after the booking to be able to purchase. If they purchase 10, say 40 days in advance, they would only have 10 days to then be able to have that, because once again, the additional 4 days would cross over that 30-day. And I know I said that pretty quickly, but if you want more information, we can certainly walk you through that. But once again, cancel for any reason, a much shorter window. Standard, very open and window for folks to be able to consider it. So let's get into the good stuff. How can guests purchase travel protection and cancel for any reason? Well, first and foremost, here's an LMPM client, property manager, Aluminum Property Group, and here's their website. So if somebody goes to their website and types in the dates, gets started with a booking, and they click search, they can certainly go through and choose their unit. And when they click book now, it's going to take them to the booking page. And inside that, there's going to be obviously the additional information of all the things that are available in the cart. And one of those is trip insurance. And here you can see that they have the option to be able to purchase the standard coverage. So yes, I want travel protection. This would cost me, based on the booking, it would be $373.10. Or I can choose cancel for any reason, which would then be $575.64. Or I choose not to protect my trip. Now you notice there's a compliance issue right in front of you right here. You notice that the radio button is chosen already for no. You have to choose this no, because you cannot make the guest choose no. So it's already selected as no. If they don't want coverage, they just simply leave it as is and they go about their business making the booking. But if they want to choose it, they would click one of those buttons to say yes for standard or yes for cancel for any reason. That amount of coverage would then be added to the booking, and then they would then be the price of the booking would be uplifted by that amount, and then they would be paying that amount. Now, one thing to notice, the taxes and fees are not involved. So this is going to be on top. So if somebody had the rental rate total, and then they had the admin fee or a manager fee, and then they had taxes, then that would be the grand total. And then travel insurance sits on top of that, because the taxes are paid behind the scenes by Rental Guardian directly to the underwriters and the local government agencies that collect that. Now, let's say they chose no. Well, what do? Well, they make their booking and they can come back and get the program in a secondary market, which means here you can see that Lumina took our advice and added trip insurance as a drop-down item for their guests. And if they click that link, they can go to an online store. Now, I wanted to give some love to some other folks. And of course, our good friends in Maui, John Keevan and his team at Maui Paradise Properties, are also a great LMPM client. And this is their online store. And here you can see that the guests can then come to this if they click that link, and they're going to go directly to an online store that allows for the guests to be able to purchase online 24/7 every day to be able to take that coverage up if they change their mind. I can tell you, and the reason why I put Maui in here is because I recently last year booked a trip to Maui. Actually, it was 46 days that we left prior to the devastating Maui fires that happened in Lahaina. And it was so unfortunate. But in that, we were able to go to Maui. We had a great vacation. But even I, knowing the value of travel insurance, after I made my booking with the hotel that I was at, for this vacation, I can tell you that it stung a little. It was a lot of money. It was an expensive vacation for me and my 5 family members that were traveling with me. And with that, I was even questioning purchasing travel insurance, but of course I did, because I know how valuable it is. But many times people will say, nah, I just can't spend another dollar right now. And that's okay, because when they change their mind and you say, hey, we noticed you didn't protect your trip. If you're interested, click here. And they come back to this and they purchase on that online store, they can purchase the program directly. And whether you sell it through the booking page or whether we sell it through the online store, you're going to make the same amount. So it's a great way when somebody calls up and said, gosh, you know what? I saw that you guys offered me travel insurance and I said no, but I've changed my mind. How do I get it? Well, they simply go to the website, click travel insurance, and then go to the online store. And when they do, they can purchase it without bothering your team, which then makes it a much more seamless and easy experience. And on this website, it is chock full of travel insurance information. It goes through the programs, frequently asked questions. It allows for them to contact us, Rental Guardian, to be able to answer any additional deeper dive questions. And they can also, if they've already purchased the program, manage their coverage. And in that, like I said, they can purchase coverage 24/7. They can manage their coverage. They can also download a copy if they lost the email, simply by clicking manage coverage, and they can download their documents. They can review the program features that has a easy to digest grid of checkbox. Yes, this is included as far as what's in the program. Or let's say you have somebody that wants to dive into the depths of the language. The policy is actually anywhere between 35 to 50 pages long with all of the details that are built into it. But if somebody wants to read every single word, you can point them to your website here, your online store, and they can click sample coverage and they can read that verbatim for the state where they're coming from, because travel insurance is all built around where they come from, not where they're going to. And of course, they can begin the claims process, which is pretty cool, which gives you a quick and easy way to be able to refer folks, get that handled when they're having an issue and have to get their money back. So let's talk about training. One of the most important pieces of the program is the training that we provide. And that training is going to be able to get your team comfortable, as well as access to information and tools that help them to be able to deliver information directly to your guests. We tell folks, don't sell it. Excuse me, it sells itself. And sometimes in the course of working with folks that are using travel insurance, you're going to be able to hear some stories about how it worked for them. Remember those stories, because you can then share that information with another guest, whether it's by email or on the phone. We also train you on what to say and what not to say. We're not trying to make you travel insurance experts. We want to just give you the tools that you need to be able to get the information to the guest as quickly and easily as possible. Sometimes that's a telephone call with a nationwide expert, and that's going to be just referring them to the telephone number, which we'll provide to you. And then you can give them the information that they need, but not you giving it. The nationwide expert gives it. And then, of course, always assume they want the program. If you have somebody on the phone and you're talking about collecting the fees, you're like, oh, and by the way, we highly recommend travel insurance. Your booking is for a Florida property, and it's July and it's hurricane season. Why wouldn't they want travel insurance to be able to protect themselves against a hurricane? So when that happens, assume they want the program. And then you can tell them, let's add it today, but then you have a 10-day free look. So if for any reason during the first 10 days you don't want the program, or something you see isn't to your liking, then you can just simply call us up and we'll give you your money back. So it's a great way to be able to get your team comfortable, and we're more than happy to do those. And we do that with every single onboarding that we do with Rental Guardian. You'll have a kickoff call, which we'll cover here in a little bit. So lastly, let's talk about how do guests file claims for travel protection. Well, this is the easiest part. First and foremost, you can forward them to playtravelprotection.com, and you can see the arrow at the top, file a claim, or down at the bottom, start a claim. And that's either going to be for US and or Canadian travelers. That's another benefit. We allow for guests who live in Canada, except for Quebec, to be able to purchase travel insurance. So that's going to be for US travelers and Canadian travelers. And here's a big announcement. Within the next 60 to 90 days, Rental Guardian is going to be having a program that we're adding to our platform that's going to cover UK, EU, Mexico, and other worldwide destinations. So if you're in Hawaii and get a lot of Japanese travelers, guess what? You're going to be able to use our travel insurance to offer to your folks coming from Japan to get coverage. If you're a destination in Mexico and you get a lot of Mexican residents that are living in Mexico or other South American countries or the Caribbean and are coming to visit you, they can also purchase travel insurance. Or if you're getting UK or EU folks from France, etc., we're going to have that worldwide coverage launching very soon. And in the industry and the space that we were at just at the Verma Spring Forum, we're the only ones with Canadian traveler protection as well as soon to be worldwide protection, which we're super excited about. But with that, in this, having them file a claim, they simply click which one they're at right now, US or Canadian, and then they have the ability to then either do a digital claim, which is going to be by text message for US travelers, or do a self-service, which is just sending an email, which they'll get an immediate response where they can start the claim process, or they can call and speak to a representative. Now, sometimes the claim line for a call can be a little bit long, especially if it's like a hurricane that devastated, say, Fort Myers last year. Well, there's going to be thousands of people that are probably going to be calling all at the same time. So having these other ways to be able to get a claim started is a great way to provide good customer service to your guests and get them the information they need, and of course, get them their money back when something like a hurricane or other natural disaster occurs. So that was travel insurance. And I know I talk fast and I know that I covered a lot of information. So at the end of this, I'm going to tell you an easy way for you to get in touch with us so we can then dig in a little bit deeper and tell you a little bit more at a much slower pace. But I want to be respectful of your time. And so next, we're going to talk about damage protection. Damage protection is also integrated within the LMPM platform now. And so we have two different programs that you can take advantage of. First, this is what we call Home Guardian. It's just a basic damage waiver. It's got 500, 1,000, 1,500, or 3,000 or 5,000 in coverage. It's just something that basically replaces deposits, so you don't have to, deal with giving or telling a guest they have to give you $1,500 on a credit card or something, which nobody likes to do. You can simply just charge them a small fee, and then this can live behind the scenes because the great value of our program in damage protection versus others on the market is that we make you, as the property manager, the covered party. Others in the marketplace make the guest the covered party. And when the guest is the covered party, guess what? They hold all the cards, which means you have to make sure that the guest says they did the damage when the underwriter calls and said, hey, the property manager said you broke the lamp. Did you break the lamp? If they say yes, then you can get your claim paid. But if they say no, guess what? Claims denied, because now all of a sudden it's your word versus theirs. So that makes it more difficult and you have to fuss and fight with them. And once again, that usually ends up in a lost relationship for you that you worked hard to attain. So in this program, you're able to simply just add the program, whether you say it's the my company protection program and charge it as a retail fee, or what most managers do is they just put it behind the scenes and add it to an admin fee or a manager fee and keep it out of the guest view because it's not their program, it's yours. It's your way to protect your units against the damages they cause. And there's different price points for each one. If you're interested in this program, give us a call. We're more than happy to help. But the most popular version of our program that we launched in December of 2022 and has gone gangbusters ever since is what we call Home Guardian Plus. And Home Guardian Plus is a plan that's very comprehensive. It has 4 different coverages, all for one low price, either per day or per stay. And it's basically there to cover in a more elaborate fashion the things that can happen when you basically rent your homes to strangers off the internet. There's many risks and perils that come from doing that, either being the property manager or a host of some kind. And when you're in those situations, making sure that you have the right coverage when things go wrong is certainly a great way to protect yourself, your homeowners, and everybody else. So let's talk about it. First and foremost, it's got protection for damages. The Platinum is what we have listed here, and I'll show you another slide next, the different levels. But the Platinum coverage has $25,000 of contents protection. That's going to protect the floors, the walls, the TVs, the tables, the chairs, the lamps, the electronics, anything from a Keurig coffee maker to a TV to a table. All of those things are going to be protected against the damages that guests may cause. Let's say somebody spills wine on the carpet and you need to get your carpet cleaner in there and it's a $350 fee. Well, previously with a deposit, you'd have to go back and try and fuss and fight with that guest and like, but it was an accident. Well, you still did it. So now all of a sudden you're fussing and fighting over that $350 when this program, whether they call you up and tell you about the damage or whether you walk in and the chair is strategically placed over the wine stain, and when your cleaning crew's in there and they put the chair back and like, uh-oh, we've got to get this stain clean, turned around. Well, if the guest didn't tell you about it and you had you were using one of the older programs that the competitors offer, and the guest is the covered party, guess what? Now all of a sudden you have to try and turn that around with a guest involvement. Probably not going to happen. With our program, find the damage, fix it, get reimbursed, go about your day. Makes it super simple. Also in the damage protection, it covers dwelling or real property protection, which means heaven forbid a guest were to cause a fire or a water overflow or something like that. And there's massive amounts of damage that damage the structure of the home. There's up to $1 million in dwelling protection as well in the platinum version of this coverage that we're talking about. The third coverage involved in this is called liability, and it's personal injury liability. So if somebody's on property and gets injured, let's say they dove into the pond instead of the pool and had a neck injury, that then they had multiple surgeries and lost job and pain and suffering and all that, and serve you 6 months later with a demand letter for $500,000, it's going to stand up for those types of claims when the guest was on property and got injured. And that's very important, that liability protection. And the great thing about this program is that it also includes bed bugs and the bed bug protection. So let's say, for instance, that you are in a destination where bed bugs don't grow organically, right? You never have them. But let's say somebody stopped in Vegas on the way to your destination and picked up a suitcase full of bed bugs. What are you going to do? Well, you probably don't know about it until a rental or two later when the guest calls you up and said, oh my God, my legs are eating up. I've got I think I have bed bugs in my room. And now all of a sudden you've got to deal with that. Well, you're going to be able to get the exterminators out there. You're going to be able to replace ruined furnishings, the soft furnishings that are involved. You're going to be able to also put them up in a hotel, because the last thing you want to do is put them up in another one of your residences, because that one also might have bed bugs. And then after 72 hours, you can replace your lost income. So with that, you're going to be able to have up to $15,000 of bed bug protection to be able to handle those types of claims quickly and efficiently. And it's a great way for you to be able to protect yourself. Heaven forbid the little pesky little creepy crawlies make their way into your unit. And with that, it also over on the right-hand side has a smoking benefit. So let's say you've got somebody that smokes in a non-smoking unit. There's up to $1,000 to be able to clean the unit with regards to your ozone type smoke removal machines and things like that, to be able to remove that type of smell. And it is also covering pets and pet friendly units. So if you have pet friendly units and Fido damages the blinds or goes tinkle in the corner, well, guess what? You're going to be able to clean that up and file a claim and get reimbursed. Here's the 4 levels of the program, and it's Home Guardian Plus Homeowner Protection Program, or if you take the first letters of Homeowner Protection Program, it's called HPP. Now, we call it the Homeowner Protection Program, but you as the property manager are the covered party, and your homeowners are additionally insured. And in that, the Platinum is the one I just covered, 25K contents, 1 million in real property, 1 million in liability, and 15K in bed bug. It's either $9.95 a night or $50 per stay. That is a ridiculously low price for the coverage that you get, especially heaven forbid something happens that's a little bit larger. Let's say somebody, damages the Sub-Zero fridge and the, $4,500 sofa, and you've got to replace both items. Well, guess what? You now have $5,000 for the fridge, $5,000 for the sofa. It's $25K up to $5,000 any one item. So you could have five $5,000 items, or you could have any assortment of claims as part of that to go up to $25,000, as long as they don't go over $5,000 for any one item. The gold package comes down and offers 10K in contents, 500K in real property, and 500K in liability, and 10K in bed bug. And it comes down $1 per night or $5 per stay, and it's $8.95 or $45. The silver comes down a little bit more, and that's one of the sweet spots for folks that have, condos and things of that nature. It gives a good level of liability, but also a great level of 10K for damage. And that's going to be super important in one of the next slides that I show you, with deals with homeowner acquisition and retention. And then the bronze, you'll notice it has 0 for real property and 0 for liability. It only has 10K for damage and 3K for bed bug, but the cost efficiency is that, only $35 per stay. So whether they stay 5 nights or 25 nights, it's only $35. Now, the cool thing about that is that you're only billed $35 per booking, but you can mark that up. You can double it, triple it, whatever your market will bear, and add that additional revenue to your bottom line. You pay us 35, but you collected 95. You just made $60 per booking. It's an amazing program, and you can either do it per day or per stay. If you have more questions, you let us know. Key program benefits, obviously it's going to protect you and the homeowner, and they can rest easier because, even though they might have enhanced their homeowner's protection with a commercial coverage or whatever, you really probably don't know if they still have that coverage, they made their payment on time, whatever the case might be. When you put something into somebody else's hands that you don't control it. So with our program, you're able to know that come heck or high water, literally high water for water overflows, you're able to then actually have this program in place because you're paying for it. It's your coverage and your homeowner's coverage. So it's a great way for you to be able to protect yourself and know that it's in there. It also is going to provide the vital protection against all the types of things that can happen that keep people up at night. And it includes those bodily injury lawsuits that can come. And of course, the bed bug protection, heaven forbid they come to your door. When we talk about homeowner retention and acquisition, here's a cool thing to talk about. First and foremost, when you ask yourself this question, how can Home Guardian Plus protection program by Rental Guardian help retain and grow my homeowner base? Well, you as a professional property manager are basically asking them to trust you to be able to take and manage probably one of, if not the most valuable asset they have. And that's probably doesn't come lightly. And the decision is probably super important, I would assume, by that homeowner. And you want to take it very seriously. So when you offer a program like this, you're basically able to address those needs and concerns in a much better fashion and a more robust fashion, because now you're offering a program that goes up to $25,000 in contents, whereas before some people were just using like a $1,500 damage waiver and putting that on like a 4-bedroom beachfront home. That's not even going to scratch the surface on some damages, but when you come in with 25K or 10K in contents damages, that moves the needle and it builds trust. And of course, when you're speaking with existing homeowners or potential new homeowners, it's super important for you to be able to use this as a tool on your tool belt, because whether you have 10 units or 10,000 units, if you have 10 units, you now have the ability to bring the power and value of a program like this because you're part of LMPM and because you use Rental Guardian. So now you're able to compete in the marketplace with some folks that might have a more robust program and availability of a more robust program because they have a lot more units. But you as a smaller program can certainly meet and exceed those in your marketplace because you use this Home Guardian Plus program. And as a value add, as you can see here, we also have Maui Paradise Properties. I dropped their logo in on this brochure. We can customize the brochure, so when you speak with folks, you can send that out. And then if those homeowners have additional questions, our Rental Guardian property and casualty agents can then help answer those questions on a phone call with you. We do not advise that you try and advise folks on insurance. You're not a licensed agent. And me, like personally, I am a licensed insurance agent in all 50 states. So our programs are able to be distributed easily and efficiently. You're not selling insurance. You're just adding people to the program, and you're charging a fee and then recouping the cost from your guests who stay. Now, filing claims is obviously the next thing that people want to know about, because when you do find damage in a unit, how the heck do you get your money back? Well, that's probably the easiest part of the program besides signing up. First and foremost, you're going to get a Rental Guardian account. That account is going to be, we call it PAM, or Policy Administration Manager. And that program, that Policy Administration Manager, or PAM, is going to allow you to log in with a secure username and password that you and your team will be able to have their own user accounts to be able to file claims directly with us. And in that, what you're doing is you're going to have a dashboard. This is going to welcome you, and this dashboard is blank. But when you're using the program, you're going to have these active claims that are in process, so you can get a quick view of where the claims are in the stages of the process, as well as recent coverage activity, so you can file a claim quickly if it happens to be within like the first 25 policies that were recent. You can also dig in a little bit deeper and run reports. We have a full suite of reporting. There's been some folks that have told me that other systems on the market don't have very robust or even any reporting. It's very difficult. With us, you can run tons of reports, coverage reports. You can run claims reports. You can run sales receipts reports, all kinds of reports for you to be able to handle all the things you need to do with the program and the data. It also allows you to be able to file a claim. So for instance, when you see that little red button right here, you can click that button and file a claim. You can do a quick search by all or part of even a last name. So for instance, my last name is Slaughter. But if I only had SLAU as far as the name that I knew how to spell, it would pull up everything with SLAU, and you can pick the policy to file a claim. And when you do that, you're going to go through a 4-step process. Now, I've done this 4-step process, and I can tell you it takes about 90 seconds or so. And that's even after a couple times of doing it. It's super simple. The step 1 program is basically going to be filled in with your information as the property manager, because we assume that you're going to get the money back directly for filing the claim. If your homeowners are getting the money back, if your homeowners are getting the money back, then what you're going to do is you're going to just basically go ahead and fill in their information. But most times it's you as a property manager, so you don't have to do anything with this first page. So step 1 is done for you. You click next. Step 2, tell us a little bit about what happened. We're not looking for a forensic crime scene discussion about this. We only want to know guest spilled wine on the carpet, guest broke the table, guest broke the lamp, whatever the case might be. You can see we're only giving you 512 characters, so we certainly don't want a lot of detail, but we want you to be descriptive. And don't assume, don't add context, just simply the guest broke this, the guest did that, and that's enough for us to get the claim started. You're going to then go ahead and fill out approximately how much you expect that claim to be. And then you're going to confirm that the damage location is the same that was reported to us via the API. If a guest had 12 people and they were only supposed to bring 8, and you had to switch them, then that might not be reflected through the API. So you might want to just change that to the unit that you move them to, so that way your claims reporting is correct. And then once you fill this information out, just takes a few seconds, you go ahead and click next. Step 3 is you're going to give us the proof of the damage. So for instance, because unfortunately we don't get to come out and investigate every scene of the accident, or the damage that happened, whatever the case might be, you're just going to provide us some pictures. We just need a visual representation of what happened. You're going to upload that, and then you're also going to upload a paid invoice or receipt for the work that was done, and allows you to be able to go ahead and then enter that information. So you've shown us the damage and the items that were damaged, and then you uploaded what it cost you to repair or replace the items, and then you're going to upload that so we know what to pay you, and you're going to click next. Step 4, super simple. There's a fraud warning here, basically, just a notice about information, and that fraud's bad, don't do it. You're going to enter your initials, you're going to certify that the information is accurate, and submit for processing, and that is it. Pretty much 90 seconds, super simple, super easy, and you're not going to spend a lot of time filing claims, but you are going to spend time helping your guests and helping them overcome those things that get in the way of their trip with regards to, oh my gosh, I broke the lamp, what do I do? No problem, let us know. We'll come in and take a picture of it and get it replaced. Super easy. And so with that, how easy is it to get started with this program? Well, it's ridiculously simple. Literally, we need about 5 minutes of your time, because the programs are already built in. The API is finished. They're already embedded and baked into the LMPM system. So all you are going to do is activate them with us. We have an online activation form that you can fill out. It takes about 5 minutes to give us the details for, you can do the damage program and the travel protection program on the same form, or you can choose to use one or the other. It's up to you. And then once we get that, we're going to then send the information to our onboarding team, and they're going to help you complete 3 additional simple tasks. You're going to log in and accept the terms and conditions of using the Rental Guardian system. You're going to add a form of payment, and then you're going to choose your username and password, and you're good to go. Then they're going to, once that's completed, they're going to send the information over to the LMPM team with an API key that connects the dots between our system and the LMPM system for you specifically. It's your key. And then that's going to, then the team over at LMPM is going to activate these programs and get them set up for you. And then they're going to be launched, and you just tell them when you want them to do it. And then our account management team will then jump in and we'll schedule a kickoff call with you and your team, which will be recorded, to then give you and allow you to answer all the questions you need to be able to get started and manage the programs. And then we can schedule additional trainings at 90 days or 6 months or even a year, whatever works for you. As your team becomes more familiar but still has questions, we're more than happy to re-engage and dive in and do another training. And with that, I just want to say thank you. I know I talk fast, and I know that we covered a lot of content. So if you need additional information, please let us know. You can get in contact with us here at Rental Guardian by entering sales@rentalguardian.com. Send us an email. We'll be more than happy to get this information out to you and send you an activation form to get started, or give us a call. The telephone number is 888-885-5550, extension 1. And it literally takes 5 minutes to get started. And how people always ask me, how long does it take to complete the process? The world record is 1 calendar day. Now, you don't have to beat that, but if you want to, give it a shot. Hit that number or send us an email and we'll get you started. And with that, I want to toss it back to Faye and Katrina and just say thank you so much for your time, and see if we have any questions or anything that we need to address.
Great job, John. You knocked it out of the park per usual. So much great information about the Rental Guardian integration and just what a great service it is to our customers. So I definitely encourage everybody to explore this option. Again, great profit center for our customers, great company to be a part of, and the integration is airtight. With that said, we don't have any outstanding questions at this time, but I do want to thank everybody for attending and showing your interest in this integration. Feel free to reach out to Rental Guardian as John suggested. Also feel free to reach out to myself if you had other questions that maybe I could help with. And we look forward to seeing you at the next one.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.